Hi, everyone. It's been a while. I haven't been here. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me or can't hear me. You should be okay. I was just watching this live stream of Fox News. They are over Nancy Guthrie's house right now, and they got a second ransom note. If you're not following this case, it's pretty crazy. They got a second ransom note today, and suddenly they cleared the media out of the street. Brian Enton was reporting. They asked them to all move. And now this is the drone footage that Fox is playing live over the Nancy Guthrie's house. They're on the rooftops. They brought a big box out. I can scroll back in a bit, but I wanted to watch it live. So, hi, it's Kathy from Left Undone Incomplete Investigations. Come on in and say hi in the chat. I am just here to figure out what's happening with this case. It's just blown my mind. It's like a real life thriller. I pray that Nancy Guthrie is okay. Hey, Robbie, how are you? And alive. But this is just the most bizarre, wild ride I have ever seen in modern day kidnapping, ransom notes, Bitcoin. I mean, it's freaking insane. You can hear me okay? You can hear me okay? So why are they on the rooftops? There was one point, yeah, it's so crazy. They carried a big tote or box from somewhere into the garage. Okay, perfect. And now they're up on the casita rooftop. Weird, right? Oh, good, because I'm not, it might be a little echoey because I'm in the living room. Hi, Diane. Hi, just a friend. Lepsky. Hello, you guys. Thanks for dropping in here. I've been watching this and texting with my sister, and I mean, this whole case just blows my mind. First of all, the fact that they took this 84-year-old woman from her house almost a week ago now, and then these ransom notes, immediately I thought, this is just bogus. This is just people trying to make money off of, news story, right? But they seem to be taking this very seriously. Hi, Diane. Very seriously. And for them to come back today with this new second ransom note that supposedly, according to Brian Enton, let me see, I saved a screenshot of what he said. Okay. Let's see. What did I do with that? He said the second note went to KOLD TV station in Tucson. They say the IP address is not the same IP address as the initial note, but it appears the sender used the same type of secure server to hide their IP address. The new note contains something the senders seem to think will prove to investigators they are the same people who sent the first note. But have they found anything that's proving this yet? I mean, they're on the rooftops, they're walking around, they're sending the media away. But so far, it doesn't look like they found whatever they're looking for. It seems like they're kind of on an Easter egg hunt, right? That's what this is just, if the FBI and everybody is falling for something this bogus, I've lost all faith if it's bogus, right? Like, oh God, nobody's going to save me if anything happens. I swear. I've lost faith. I feel like people online are going to solve this quicker than, a million heads together versus whatever law enforcement. I don't know. I just don't understand what's happening and how they're not like getting somewhere with this in this day and age. How can they hide an 84-year-old woman for a week, have this goose chase going on, media all over the place, on the news, bringing in all the top law enforcement you could possibly bring in, and then womp womp, right? I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think this ransom note stuff is real? Do they think they're really holding her hostage, or do you think it's just bogus and it was like somebody actually came and killed her? Like, what are your thoughts on what's really happening here? Let me know in the chat. It's really wild. They were on the main house roof for a long time. Then they moved the ladder over to the casita. That one Looks like that one woman police officer is still up there on the main roof. You think it's a distraction? Like, I know. And they moved everybody away, but the reporters aren't even really reporting. Like, are they I'm just really blown away right now with how this has gone down. See that she's up there on that roof and was looking like between the air vents and stuff that are out there. And then what time is it? It's 5:47 there. It's going to be dark soon in Tucson. It's still not dark though. It doesn't look like it. They're getting good footage. Say get cash, return granny, right? So, but what do you think would be in that note that would have them up here on top of the rooftops looking? Like, obviously they're trying to say there's a clue somewhere on the property that says we're real and this is real and you will know when you find this clue. And they're out there looking for some clue like it's a freaking Easter egg hunt. Really weird. Really weird. I'm trying to find something on my phone here. I can't find it. So I'm just really shocked how they're as in this is a possible setup that the aggressors knew would dominate the headlines, forcing the other big stories down. I don't think the distract them method would work on some of the recents. I've heard a lot of people say that. They're like, oh, that big Epstein file just came out now. So we need something over here that's going to make everybody look at this over here so they don't pay attention to this, or something else, right? Took her maybe in desert trailer, needs meds. Yeah, so she has a pacemaker. She's probably on blood thinners. I don't see any medication that she has to have right now or she would die in 24 hours like they first said that. I'm like, no, not necessarily. I have hospice patients that go off their regular meds all the time that have pacemakers and they decide, you know what, I don't want any more of my regular meds. I'm just going to let nature take its course. And it doesn't happen like lickety split. I don't know any med that is literally keeping you alive that you need every 24 hours to stay alive. Like there's just no real such thing for a person that's living in their home, ambulatory, not in the ICU, So, I'm just a little bit like, I don't know about that med. I know she probably needs it. She's probably on blood thinners. People with cardiac issues are on blood thinners so they don't blow a clot, stroke. But I mean, obviously she needs her medicine. If she's on blood thinners, she could get a pulmonary embolism. She could get a blood clot, a DVT. She could have, if she has AFib, she has the pacemaker, Lasix, a diuretic, Jen. Yeah, could be. But it's still, it's just going to get her fluid overload, which could eventually back up fluid into her lungs and everything and cause pulmonary edema and all kinds of problems, right? Can you imagine, like, if they literally have her right now? I was telling my sister, if they literally have her, right, like somewhere right now, they're watching this with her. Or if they don't have her and they're a big bunch of phonies, they're sitting there watching this right now, laughing their butt off at law enforcement doing this big old goose chase. They always use the meds to scare the kidnappers with elderly dogs, kids. Yes, for sure. You're going to wind up with a dead person on your hands, buddy. And they probably did know about the ransom before we ever knew. So when they were saying that makes sense that they would be like, oh, by the way, if she's gone, you took somebody that's going to die in a minute if you don't bring her back because she has her meds, right? Needs her meds. Sorry, I need to take a sip. I think the ransom notes are a red herring. Yeah, there's something. I mean, I'd just be shocked, as shocked could be, if this is just what the heck? I'd just be shocked. You know, I mean, I don't want to think she's dead. I really don't want to think the poor woman's dead. But once they get the money, what are they going to do? Drop her off on a corner somewhere? I bet the call was coming from inside the house on this one for sure. Family, someone in her orbit is involved. It has to be somebody that knows her, that knows the house. I mean, how they're not going to randomly pick a famous journalist's mother that lives in her own little house in Tucson out of the blue. Like, it's just, there's just too, somehow they knew who they were taking, and they are familiar with her. They're familiar of her, who her daughter is. They're familiar enough to know that there could be money that they could get if this is true kidnapping and they really are after ransom money. If the call was inside the house, there is no way she can be found alive. She knows them. Right. Yep. Because if she knows who they are face to face, what, they're going to release her and then she's going to tell on him, right? If they are able to conceal their identity. Exactly. Right? This guy keeps landing the drone, but then he goes back up, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. I can scroll back, though, and see the when they were carrying the box and stuff. That was really wild. Hello. Thanks for covering, Kathy. I'm at work. I'm really glad that you have this live. Thank you. Good work. Oh, thanks. I've been trying to find somebody else that has it live. And I was like, okay, well, nobody else is watching this drone but me by myself. So I'll watch it with you guys. I mean, right? Like, where are my people? I sit here talking to my dog, Percy. See, they keep going back and forth with this drone. We'll see if it goes back up. Hopefully it'll go back up. They won't let her go. Yeah, good point. I'm just... Oh, yes. Thank you, Robbie. Please hit the like button. I haven't been on in a while. I hope... I don't know if you guys all know, but my mom, like I told you, I've taken care of her for 5 years, and she passed away December 23rd. She had wandered out the door, down the street. I lost her, couldn't find her. She has Alzheimer's, and got her back, took her to the...
When the holidays roll around, I crave sweets. Same. But a few years ago, I had to give up refined sugar due to my health, but I didn't want to give up on joy or sweetness, which is exactly why we started Spring and Roll.
Breaking details in the case that's got the nation on the edge of its seat. The desperate search for Nancy Guthrie has entered day 6. Law enforcement racing against the clock as the first ransom note deadline reportedly expired yesterday.
Yeah.
Now, that was at 5 p.m. local time, 7 p.m. Eastern. And the FBI confirming that the next deadline in the more serious...
Okay, let me take this down. Hold on. Let me turn this off. I want to see if there's any more drone footage coming up here real quick. But yeah, that we can scroll back and watch that too. Let me see. YouTube. Let me see. Anyway, my mom wound up passing away on hospice, so I've been out of commission for a little bit, but I'm getting there. I'm back enough to be able to come back. Okay, one second. I'm just trying to see if that drone went back up or if that was the end of that. If anybody sees it, let me know. I don't see it. Okay. So that was weird. I thought that ad was on my screen and couldn't figure out why I could still hear the narration. Yeah, sorry. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Diane. Glad you're back. I'm sorry about your mom. I think you're the only one covering the drone coverage. I've been watching stuff all. I know. I've been sitting here. My sister keeps texting me because she's watching it too. And it's like I just keep trying to make myself try to figure out how this could be real, right? In this day and age, how can you kidnap an elderly woman, you have to know, like, you have to know her house inside. You have to know that there's not any real cameras inside. You have to know, I mean, in my house, I have cameras inside and all around my house. So you would have to know that, right? To come in and kidnap me. Not that anybody would want to kidnap me. Thank God. Nobody's going to pay them any money. So don't do it. But, like, sorry, we got to spend our money on other things. You can keep her. But thank you, Pam. But they have to be familiar with the house, and then they talk about victimology, right? Where you go from the people closest and then go out and out and out and out. But somebody has to be familiar with that house, and somebody has to understand that there were cameras and where they were, and that there's not a subscription, which, oh gosh, pay for the subscription. There's no point in having cameras if you can't access what went on if you go missing, right? I'm just shocked that they weren't paying for the subscription for her. I think they said it was a Nest camera. The Nest, that's the system I have. I have the Nest. So I have my backyard has my Nest. I can look it on my phone right now and see what's going on in my backyard. It records movement, people, faces, recognizes faces. My front doorbell has the Nest Ring doorbell. Inside my house, my Google Home has a camera on it. I have another little camera that I was using when my mom was sick in her room so I could see her. So you would have to know. And I'm just shocked that somebody like a famous news person like Samantha Guthrie and her mom lives alone wouldn't insist. Do people have this false sense of security? Maybe they do. Maybe we watch too much true crime. Right? Hello. I mean, it's pretty wild. That's what my elderly mom and I just joked. Too good to be a nobody with no money. Right? Right. I mean, if you're a nobody with no money, nobody's going to come kidnap you for money, right? Okay. So I posted something because I saw an article on the Daily Mail, and it was like the Daily Mail doesn't get things right or whatever. But a lot of times I have seen stuff following true crime where they get it first, they got the scoop, they get the inside story, they got something right. So you never know. But on the Daily Mail, it said, okay, initially when the story broke, we were told she didn't go to church. Somebody called her family and said she didn't show up for church. Then I find this thing from the Daily Mail, right, that says that she hasn't been in church. She only goes to church virtually on the computer. So somebody called and said, so I said, okay, well, if that is true, that somebody noticed her missing, whether she was in church, that she goes to church physically, or if she was online and they noticed her missing, wouldn't they have called her phone and been like, hey, Nancy, we missed you in church today? Wouldn't there be all these like missed calls or texts from whoever that person was before they called the family? So I'm sure the police would have looked into that, right? Like, who's the person that told us this and why? I don't know. It just seems very wild. Let's see if there's anything else I can find here as far as updates go, because it's making me crazy. I wish they just I feel like there should be an arrest soon. Brian Eaton, what does he have to say? Nothing yet. Tell me if you see anybody talking about it live and we'll share screen. Let's see. Live. Anybody? Nancy Guthrie's captors not playing by the rules. Ex-FBI agent. Okay, let's watch this. Hold on. This is News Nation. Okay, let me share. Here we go. All right.
Shea, former Navy SEAL commander and hostage negotiator who managed hundreds of kidnapping cases in Iraq. Dan, what do you make of these latest developments that in the first message from these purported kidnappers, they had said, this is our demand, no more communication. Then we have the family coming out twice with videos pleading.
Oh, that's interesting. Hold on. Someone in the interview today said that the camera on the garage door was basically hidden and only someone familiar with the house would have known about it to remove it. See, it has to be an inside job. I would be shocked if it was some random crazy stranger that decided this lady might have some freaking money to send that. Okay, hold on. Let me get back here.
For proof of life and a way to communicate. And now we have, it looks like, according to the news director of the station that received 2 messages, it looks like they're both sent from the same person. They are communicating again. So they've already changed at least one condition.
Yeah, but the reality is they have not provided proof of life. And again, this was stated in their previous show on News Nation by one of the, I think, FBI law enforcement personnel. This isn't like any case I've ever seen. And I've been tracking cases now for 20 plus years. My 2 years in Iraq, 04 to 06, but I've almost got a piece.
Okay, cool. So this guy is like a super professional at this and he's never seen anything like this. That makes me feel a little bit better because it is the most bizarre thing. Like if you wanted to write a movie, a thriller, here you go. This is it. And it's real life.
PhD in this, and I've never come across this case with, the demands sent to TMZ, to local news media. They need to go directly to the family. They're asking for millions of dollars on Bitcoin, which will be untraceable if that money's sent. And they're not acting in good faith. And I frankly think this group is going after the news media. They've created this 24/7 news cycle. And I think this exposure may be part of it. So you have to look at, the motives. Why would you go after, Savannah Guthrie is a very high profile figure, but, she's not controversial. Why would they go after her mother who's, got a health condition? She's 84. But my bigger concern is the fact that they use violence at the scene,
Yes, because we know that Nancy's blood was found on the front.
That's true. They did use violence at the scene. They wanted blood there somehow. And he's right. Like they're trying to make this a big news circus. This is all over the news. Like everybody from people like me to biggest news out there, right? CNN, Fox, Today Show, everything.
Stoop. She was hurt at some point while she was abducted.
Right. So from the get-go, the family cannot trust that what they're dealing with an honest broker from day one. Kidnapping is a business. Kidnap for ransom is a business, and people need to play by the rules. This group or this individual is not playing by the rules. Therefore, the family and the others will be hesitant to move forward because there are no good faith negotiations in this case.
Yeah. Listen, the Guthrie family has a very, very difficult decision, an excruciating decision to make in the next hours and days. Do they pay this ransom without proof of life because the second message does not contain proof of life? Or do they risk something happening to their mother and having to live with the fact that they gave up perhaps the chance to save her? If you were advising this family, because we know the FBI is working closely with the Guthries, what would you tell them? What do you think the FBI is advising them?
Well, you never pay without proof of life. Bottom line, especially not millions of dollars.
I mean, I guess so. Why would you, if you really wanted the money and you're really the kidnappers and she's really alive, you got to provide proof of life, right? I mean, it only makes sense. Otherwise, you're just dragging this on and you're playing with people. So yeah, if they don't provide proof of life and they get the money anyway, no. But then again, I don't know. If it was my mom and I had the money, I don't know, maybe I just freaking pay it just to get her back and hope they give her back and that it's not just a big joke's on me. I don't know. What do you think?
The fact that they showed violence in the get-go, they have a propensity to violence. There's no guarantee. You know, I'm just saying it's a very tough decision. I can't imagine what the Guthries are going through at this stage, but you cannot pay something without a proof of life. And this clock is ticking. Monday's going to be here very soon. But they have to stay strong because, you know, and there's no guarantee that these email messages are even coming from people who have her. And if they do, there's no guarantee that, you know, that they're going to make a deal to bring home her mother safely. So very challenging.
It is a heartbreaking, incredibly awful position for this family to be in tonight. Dan O'Shea, I appreciate you coming on. I'm sure we'll have you back as this story develops.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased.
All right, hold on. Let me unshare this. Move. I would not pay without proof. And I really love my mom. See, that's such a weird, crazy decision, right? I mean, but like he just said, he's the guy that does this hostage situations and all this. Is like, you don't pay without proof of life. It's just like the rules of apparently ransom is a business, he said. Who knew? Who knew? Ransom is a business. I'm in the wrong business. No, I'm just kidding. I'm like, do they pay better to send ransom notes? Who can I kidnap? Just kidding. Let me see if there's anything else out there. Hold on. Let's look and see if anybody else is reporting anything else that we don't know about yet. Nancy Guthrie's. Okay, here's another News Nation one. Let's go here. Let me pause this. Hold on. Share this one. There's another one. Okay.
Smacked at how quickly the crime scene was released. This isn't a house where you've got a bunch of young children. They need to get back to their lives and that stuff. I don't understand that. Now, it's easy for me to sit here looking at the house in my comfortable couch and say, well, law enforcement should be doing this or not.
Is that Annie's house there? I think that's Annie's house.
This is the third, fourth, or fifth time they've had to go back to that house. It's a 3,100 square
Or are they down the
foot
street?
house. That is a crime scene. There's still dried blood spatter material on the front porch. I'm shocked by that. Now, this new note, I'm learning about it, obviously, as we are right now on News Nation. And could this be some type of proof of life? Of course. But here, lastly, this is what boggles the mind. These abductors are doing everything that kidnappers don't do. They're going through the media. They're not back channeling to the family. And that's what makes this odd.
James, hang there. Brian, let's bring Brian in as well. To James's point about how quickly they released the crime scene there, or how close that they were able to bring you in, or how close they were able to let you get there. Did that surprise you at all now that they pushed you back?
Yes. I mean, it surprised me that they released the crime scene so quickly. Remember, we were able to walk up to the front steps and see the blood for ourselves just a couple of days after Nancy went missing.
I was
then
shocked,
when they came back and created another crime scene.
Yeah, you've done this long enough. When you were able to do that, I was shocked that you were able to get that close.
Yeah, I mean, they opened everything back up. I'm surprised it hasn't been like this for the last week. I mean, you know how it is when you cover big cases and there's ongoing investigations and crimes, they keep the media back. We've been set up right in front of the house for days, and it hasn't seemed to be a problem. But now, for whatever reason, and I don't think this has to do with the media. I saw the FBI coming in. I saw the FBI trucks. I think they're moving us out now because they're trying to make room for these FBI resources to come in, and they don't want the media right there in front of the house, right in front of the driveway anymore. Something is and they told me this is for investigative reasons. Something is happening right now with the investigation behind the scenes that is causing the FBI to go back to the house.
Yeah, this is from the Sheriff's Department. I'm looking down. It's just hit my phone. Detectives continue to conduct follow-up at the home and in the surrounding neighborhood. The roadway in front of the home is currently restricted to provide investigators the space needed to complete their
and they
work.
climbed the roof.
Brian and James have been talking about. James, so, and Brian, stay with me here. So it's 4:07 out there in Tucson tonight, and there's clearly been some sort of
That was an hour ago.
a reason, as Brian
No,
has
2 hours
described,
ago.
James, for the FBI to go in, to go back in, or at least at this moment. What happens from here? What do you believe happens from here, James?
So let's unpack this as far as what the FBI's role is. Number one, law enforcement and the FBI will never tell a family that has a family member abducted or kidnapped what to do. We are merely in an advisory capacity. Number two, we provide resources. What are those resources? Well, as of yesterday, the Critical Incident Response Group has been moved in. Now, I was once a member of that unit. What does that unit contain? It contains a tactile healer program. It contains behavioral specialists and analysts. It contains a crisis negotiation team. They're moving those folks in right now to continue to do this work, which, again, to Brian's point, I don't understand why they released the crime scene so soon. And look,
Thank
Blake,
you, girlie.
lastly,
Appreciate it.
kidnappings happen for two reasons: for profit or for revenge. In this instance, we still don't even know if this was a targeted attack. And again, the way that the kidnappers are working, they're putting out.
Okay, profit or revenge. It has to be profit. Who are they? Oh, you're so sweet, Carolina. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to be streaming more, I promise. So if you guys are members, it'll be great. Thank you, thank you, thank you, girlie.
Multiple deadlines. When you put out multiple deadlines, there are usually negative consequences if you don't meet the first one, you don't meet the second one. This is the oddest kidnapping that I've seen in my 25 years in the FBI, and I've studied this business since the Lindbergh baby kidnapping back in 1932.
So, James, what I'm taking away from you here clearly is that you haven't seen anything like this, right, in your career. You just said it. So what do you think, if you were there right now in Tucson, what do you think they're doing, and what do you think is happening? Or is sort of the what would
if you guys got a membership from Carolina, please thank her.
Yeah. So let's understand for the viewers, Pima County, the sheriff's office, they have the lead on this. The FBI can't come in as the 500-pound gorilla on the block and say, we're in charge.
Thank you.
We've been asked to assist.
I missed you guys.
It is a kidnapping case, but as of yet, there's been no proof that anybody has crossed over state lines, which would give us federal jurisdiction. Blake, understand this. I worked in Mexico City as a legal attaché for the FBI for 2 years. Where this location is up on the screen, 60 miles north of our southwestern border.
It's just
and
north
remember,
of Mexico.
if you look at the timeline, lastly, if you look at the timeline from 10 o'clock that night until noon the next day, that's 14 hours.
Had a lot of time.
The person or persons involved in this could have gone anywhere in the
Let
country
me ask you
or
guys.
outside the country.
Do you guys think that, okay, they're gone again anyway. Do you guys think that they took her to Mexico? If this is a true kidnapping, do you think they have her in Mexico? I kind of think that's what they would do. I don't think they'd be sitting around down the street in Tucson. There was also some information that there was a news brief that said, which was interesting. It said, law enforcement officials in Arizona are searching for a vehicle or vehicles that may be connected to the this was from like NBC News, that may be connected to the Nancy Guthrie investigation. NBC News has learned. A Circle K spokesperson told NBC News that law enforcement visited one of their stores on Oracle Road in Tucson after receiving a tip regarding a vehicle of interest, and our team has provided them access to the store's surveillance video. Officials haven't said if the vehicle or vehicles are definitively connected to any part of the crime. or if that lead has since evaporated. So it's so easy to go to Mexico down there. You just drive in. We used to go down through there to go to Rocky Point, Puerto Penasco. When I lived in Phoenix, we would go down there. My friend had an aunt that lived down there. It was super easy. You just drive on over. So yeah, they could easily have taken her to Mexico. Easily. Coming back in might be another story. You're right. They try to bring her back. God, this has to wrap up somehow. This case is driving me crazy. Let's see if there's anything else coming up out here. Okay, here's another one. Let's see. Hold on. Let me share this one. This might be interesting. I'm just grabbing out straws here. TMZ showed a map of drivable distance today, as she clearly wouldn't be flying. Right. Yeah. From her house to the border.
First breaking tonight, new developments right now in the search for the mother of Today Show co-anchor Savannah Guthrie. The FBI and local law enforcement say they are aware of a new message regarding Nancy Guthrie. She has been missing from her Arizona home since last weekend. Chief Correspondent Jonathan Hunt starts us off tonight from Tucson, Arizona with the latest. Good evening, Jonathan.
Good evening, Brett. Less than an hour ago, the Sheriff's Department made that announcement that they are aware of a, quote, new message regarding Nancy Guthrie. And they say they are, quote, actively inspecting the information provided in the message for its authenticity. There is no word at this point whether it is believed the new message is from the same person or persons who sent the previous purported ransom notes. We do know that.
Yeah, you have to put it, like, I can't get myself personally, because of what kind of channel I have, I can't get a gifted membership to anybody's channel, but people here should be able to get it. So they should be getting these. We'll see. Juicy Jewels, 14 hours, criminals got to jump on it. Nope, Mexico. Yeah, 14, you can get pretty far in 14 hours from Arizona, huh? I mean, it only take you from Tucson, or from like Phoenix, Tucson, whatever, to get to my house in California. It'd be about 4 hours. To get to the coast in California, it'd be like 6 hours. To get east, you could get pretty far in 14 hours. Pretty far, really. Yeah. Okay, let me turn this back on.
The new note was received by at least one of the local TV stations that received the original note. And we want to give you a live look now from our drone at Nancy Guthrie's house. Just a few moments ago, the media was cleared out from that location. FBI agents and sheriff's deputies are suddenly back on the scene as you look at it right now. The focus very much on tracking whomever might have sent those notes that the FBI says it is taking seriously, as well as this new note we just heard about. The most urgent need for Savannah Guthrie and her siblings, of course, getting proof that their mother is alive.
We need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward. But first, we have to know that you have our mom. We want to talk to you, and we are waiting for contact.
The possible kidnapper or kidnappers, according to TMZ, which received one of the original notes, also gave a time frame in which they promised to return Nancy Guthrie if the ransom is paid, giving a possible, albeit very large, radius in which she is possibly being held.
This is Tucson right here. If you look at this red circle, that is the radius of the maximum amount of time it would take to get her back to Tucson, all around this circle.
The FBI has also said the ransom notes made mention of a...
Okay, that's interesting. So if they gave a specific time once they got the ransom to get her back, then they can't be further than whatever that specific time is. What are they going to do? Put her on an airplane? No. Right. I mean, it might be a wild goose chase. Ugh, God, wouldn't that be terrible? But why would you want this old woman? Why would you just come in her house and kill her and not steal anything? Like, what makes the most sense right now? I mean, really, truly, what makes the most sense if you were to kidnap an 84-year-old woman? Her daughter's a pretty famous journalist. Right before the Olympics, her daughter's supposed to go, report at the Olympics. You didn't take any money, as far as we know. You were familiar enough with her house to break things and hide from cameras or whatever, or to know where they weren't. What would be the motivation other than financial? I don't see any other one. And if you're not the people sending in the ransom information, then why do you have her? What are you doing with her? What's your point? If you are the people with the ransom note, then yeah, okay, we got it. You want some money. But what would you want with her if you weren't the people with the ransom and you didn't steal anything, but you knew her house well enough? Right? It's making me crazy.
A particular floodlight at Nancy Guthrie's home. Our drone captures today were able to capture footage of one of those floodlights at the back of the house. It appears to be badly damaged. And as we give you a live look from the drone with a lot of activity back at the house, it's worth reiterating that those original ransom notes, Brett, had two deadlines. One that passed at this hour approximately yesterday. The other looming deadline is on Monday. And we are told by TMZ's Harvey Levin that that deadline included what he described as something far more consequential in terms of the threat of what might happen if that deadline is not met. Brett?
Jonathan, thank you.
Not a letter that was thrown together in a couple of minutes. It is a very specific, well-organized, layered letter that really lays things out.
Harvey Levin with TMZ. Let's get some.
Okay, I keep saying this, and I know I'm repeating myself, but if you took her, there has to be a reason. And if you're not the person with the ransom notes, then who are you and why are you quiet? If you are the person with the ransom notes, we get it. Then show proof of life. You want some money. Is there any other way to look at it? They showed two pictures earlier with her daughter and son-in-law in the car. It looks like they were trying to cover their faces. Oh, yeah, I saw that. That was from the other day. That was the first time they were seen out. They were kind of hiding from the media, which looked a little suspicious. Why are you hiding your faces? But then they did Savannah and Annie and what's the brother's name? Connor, Colton. What the heck's his name? Anyway, then they did their little plea after that, but that was weird. I don't know, right. You're not, why are you covering your faces? Are you criminals? And you're not that famous. Like, you're somebody's sister that is sort of famous. I mean, she's not a movie star, right? I don't know. This is just blowing my mind. Literally keeping me awake at night here.
On the Guthrie case from Paul Morrow. He's a Fox News contributor, former New York City police inspector. Paul, your take from today's developments. Obviously, they're moving forward with this ransom note.
Right, Brett. So you have to imagine that this new letter may have something to do with why authorities have cleared out the area around the house and are redeploying to do a search. Did the letter say something that might give indicia of veracity, that it's actually authentic? One of the simple ways to authenticate the new letter would have been for the writers to include that same Bitcoin wallet. I'm wondering if that was there. But very clearly, things are moving here when we frankly spent the first half of today saying there didn't seem to be a whole lot of movement. And as the sheriff said yesterday, they were settling in to the data analysis portion of the investigation.
Yeah, so we look at the graphics here. It says that this note that Nancy is safe but scared, and that she's aware of the demands, that the notes indicate that the individual is in the Tucson area. This is the timeline we're looking at here about what they know. As you look live there outside the house, and they've cleared, as you mentioned, the street out in front of the house. Okay, sorry. This is Annie's Facebook. I wanted to show you. And so she does, it says she's a digital creator, lives in Tucson, Arizona. This is old. It's from 2013. But she, I don't know. She kind of is like one of those starving artists or whatever. I mean, I think artists are amazing, but has she been a struggling artist for a long time? Does she want money? Sorry, it was me. It's Kathy. You always have to count on me go on mute at least one point on my live streams. Just when I'm muted myself, just talk about it in the chat and I'll see it and I'll be like, oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, my fault. Anyway, this is her Facebook, and it's old, but weird. It's just strange. About digital creator. She's a digital creator. Does she have a channel? Jewelry, wine, and chocolate. So she has some jewelry thing that she does. And that was way back when, 2012. So I don't know what she's been doing since then. Go back to the news. Paul, what about dealing with, kidnappers overall? And in this situation, can you think of other examples in the past where authorities have done this successfully?
Very, very rare. The one that jumped.
The other thing I was thinking is, in this day and age, they could probably fake proof of life with AI somehow. I mean, because, I remember back in the Vallow Dayball case, they were saying, well, to show that the kids are alive, just have them hold up a newspaper with a date on it or this or that. Well, we didn't have all that AI stuff, back then, 5-6 years ago, where people could do that well. But now they could totally make an alive looking Nancy. They could make her look a lot like they could. It's so crazy. I don't know if I'd believe anything at this point. Like, unless she directly could answer some secret questions that only your family would know. Right?
To my mind, it's all the way back in the 1960s when Frank Sinatra Jr. was kidnapped. And it was just two guys that saw him at a casino, followed him for a bit, did a little bit of surveillance, and managed against all odds to get him. And as is usual in kidnappings, in short order, ultimately it fell apart. In that case, they actually got to pay the ransom. They had set up communications in a way that they actually could do the exchange. Ultimately, one of them got cold feet and just let him go. But that was a celebrity kidnapping. And then ultimately, in very short order, they arrested both of those perpetrators. The thing that's so odd about this one, and you and I have been talking about it, is that as part of this entire thing, the perpetrators have not provided any way for the family or law enforcement to talk to them about those kinds of things, the exchange, talk about the money, and so on and so forth. It is a very, very big ask, for lack of a better term, from the perpetrators here to essentially say, give us the millions on faith without us providing any proof of life or any further detail. And that is why I feel certain that the family felt compelled to come out with first the family video and then the video that Brother Cameron did yesterday when the first deadline passed, to try to humanize the captive, Nancy, to the captors and try to get into their minds that this is a person and get in touch with us because we will pay.
Yeah, it's unbelievable and unimaginable for that family.
Okay, hold on. Lady. Okay, her. So that something's got to give. That's the bottom line. Something's got to give. Either they've said, this is my mom. We want her back. We're willing to work with you. Prove that she's alive, and we're willing to work with you. So at this point, it's the cards are in the hands of the kidnappers if they really truly have her. If they really truly want what they want, then they're going to have to do that. And if they're a hoax, they can't do that because they don't have her. If the family was alive, they would know this. Right. That's true. They would know the answers. And again, if it's a murder, like if they came in and murdered her and they knew her house and stuff, then what, obviously somebody's getting an inheritance or something. There's something going on there. It can only go a couple of ways. I don't know. This whole case is blowing my mind, but something's got to give soon. I'm hoping that they say something crazy went on after the search tonight or something. An ex-FBI profiler said the family should ask her questions. All issue. No, I already said that. Okay. Yeah, they would know the answers if it's a family. I don't know. I guess we'll just keep paying attention to this one. Let me just look and see if there's anything else new before we go. Okay, go away. Oh, shoot. Where's my YouTube? My YouTube left. I'm only using one screen here, so bear with me for a second here. FBI going door to door in Nancy's neighborhood. What is this? No. Hold on. Let's try this one. FBI going door to door, it says. Let me share this. This is new. This was from 35 minutes ago. Okay. FBI going door to door.
FBI has just confirmed that they're going door to door in Nancy Guthrie's neighborhood. Good evening. I'm Kadiba Devine.
And I'm Mark Curtis. Authorities moved into the neighborhood almost immediately after we learned that a second message regarding Nancy's disappearance was sent to a local TV station in Tucson.
Let's begin our team coverage with 12 News journalist Maria Stobbs, who is live outside of Nancy's house right now.
And Maria, what are you seeing there?
Hold on. So if they're going door to door, is there something that says that there's something local? There's something either at Nancy's house or close by in the neighborhood? Oh, this is making me crazy. It's rural, but it's not super duper rural. It's just spread out desert community. Like I picture rural more like houses on farmland, far apart. It's still, for that area, I would still consider it more suburban. You know, it's a subdivision in a way, if you look at it. She's lived there since the 70s, from what I understand. But it's big properties. They're like an acre each. Okay, here, let's see what this says, because this is weird.
Well, Mark Ruby, the scene is still very active with the road to Nancy Guthrie's home still blocked off. It started about an hour and a half ago when Pima County Sheriff's deputies blocked off the road to make room for the FBI to get in. And at the time, media outlets were inside, but they made them all evacuate so that way the FBI could come in and, like we were saying, talk to neighbors, continue to search properties, and also search Nancy's home. Now, I want to show you some aerial footage that we took earlier this afternoon. About within the past hour, you can see several FBI units and Pima County Sheriff's vehicles outside of Nancy Guthrie's home. The FBI also confirmed again they're out in the neighborhood searching properties, talking to neighbors to see if anyone has any information. They say this is a routine.
Yeah, for sure. Right there. Look at that picture right there. I mean, look how far it is between houses, and it's all desert, you know, rattlesnakes and sorry, I live in the desert, so I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be walking around through those. I don't know. I'm freaked out. I have not had a rattlesnake in my yard. Let's just put it that way. But neighbors have, and would having all that property, it'd be like, great, I have all this property. I'm not going over there. But yes, I see what you mean, because if you look at it, it looks very wide open. It's not house after house with brick walls and fences in between. They all sit very far apart from each other. So that makes sense what you mean, what you're thinking as far as rural goes. Yeah, I gotcha. I agree. They should have never released that crime scene. They've been back here how many times now? And then they left blood on the doorsteps for news media to see. Sometimes I lose faith in the law enforcement when they do stuff like this. I'm like, oh boy. Oh boy. Something got to give, maybe in middle. Superpower Sunday. Super Bowl Sunday. Superpower. Super Bowl. Oh, I wouldn't be surprised, right? Right in the middle of Super Bowl Sunday. Yeah, I would not be surprised. But I had rattlesnakes when I lived in San Diego. It was on 5 acres with a home on undeveloped. Yeah, they freak me out, man. Woo. My sister just sent me a text. She says, one thing that makes me think the note might be legitimate is that the person sending it seems pretty confident about their extended deadlines of Thursday and Monday, knowing she wouldn't be found before then. Because if the ransom part was a hoax and not really related to what actually happened to her, the cops could have found her, solved it by those dates. Ew. No poisonous snakes in Oregon. I used to live up there for a little while. I didn't see any snakes. I did see coyotes and stuff, but we have those right here too. Copperhead here. Ugh. Woo. Yikes. I do not like snakes. I've had scorpions. I've had skunk. I've had coyotes in my yard. I've had everything. But I said the day that I find a rattlesnake in my yard, I'm leaving. I'm moving. Although, you know where I saw a rattlesnake? The only time I ever saw them out in the world is I was down by the beach, and I was in the wetlands in Huntington Beach, and I was walking on the little hike thing, right? And it's all wetlands there across from on Pacific Coast Highway on the other side in Huntington Beach. And there was a rattlesnake right there, a big old juicy rattlesnake with its tail going. So that was the only time I saw one in real life, and I was at the beach. So They're around. They are around. Okay, let's finish watching this one.
Part of a process like this, but this does also come shortly after reports did come in of that second note being sent to a Tucson station, which the FBI says they are still investigating. So we're still working to learn more what that connection is and if it is a legitimate note.
Yeah, when I saw that rattlesnake out, there was a guy jogging on the path, and I was like, oh my God, there's a rattlesnake. And he's like, well, they don't want to waste their venom on you. You just don't want to step on them. And I was like, He's like, they warn you. I was like, okay, I'm never come back here. Sorry.
Maria, do we know if this response that we're seeing is something that's tied to the note, or is it just normal follow-up by the FBI when it comes to a situation like this?
So the FBI has said this is a routine part of a process like this, going door to door, talking to neighbors again, searching the properties of neighbors and of Nancy Guthrie's home again. So they say this is a routine process, but again, this did come just about a half.
Okay, wait, I missed that part, Carolina. They're so 1574, that was mistake. And number one, and mistake number two was the FBI told everyone at the press conference about checking out pharmacies to see if anyone has gone in there requesting meds. Okay, that's weird too, because why you could go to Mexico and get the meds, right? You don't even be like, but you can't just go in a pharmacy and ask for prescription meds. So that is a weird thing that they would even say that. You're right. That Nancy Guthrie needs sheriff, FBI drop the ball, in my opinion. Yeah, something was screwed up in this case from the beginning, but they need to figure out where the heck she is. These criminals cannot be smarter than all these law enforcement people, can they?
Hour after we learned of reports of that second note. So there very well could be a connection that we're still working to learn about.
All right, Maria Stobbs there outside of Nancy Guthrie's home in Tucson. We want to continue our coverage now by heading over to Tramway. She is live outside of Nancy Guthrie's daughter's home. That is Annie Guthrie. And Tram, what is the latest there?
Yeah, it is interesting to piggyback off of Maria and what she was saying, that the timing of that message that was sent to that local TV station, and then shortly afterwards, the fact that authorities and law enforcement moved in to that neighborhood, it does seem a little coincidental. But again, as I was reading from the Pima County Sheriff's Office, they put out a statement that said that detectives continue to conduct a follow-up at the home and in the surrounding neighborhood. But back out here, this is just about 10 minutes away from where Maria is at Nancy Guthrie's home. This is the home of Annie Guthrie. That is Savannah's sister and daughter of Nancy. This vehicle that you see right here, this is actually security. They have had security pretty much 24/7 from the day that this incident of this alleged kidnapping took place on Sunday. We do know that right now it is pretty quiet. It has been pretty quiet for the past couple of days, but also we were told that this home is actually where the Guthrie family, so the siblings, Annie, Cameron, and Savannah, they made their public plea not once, but twice. Not a lot of information has come out of the Pima County Sheriff's Office. Again, they are intensely scrutinizing every lead and every tip that they are getting, but we can tell.
Thank you for explaining that. Yeah, that's what I was saying. You could go into a pharmacy in Mexico and be like, I need some losartan for my blood pressure. And they'll be like, okay, here you go. You don't have to go in. You can buy. We used to, a lot of people, I never bought medicine in Mexico, but I know a lot of people that did. They'd go down there for their antibiotics, like you said, buy antibiotics. They don't want to do the doctor, but they could go down there and get the antibiotics, or they could get different meds that are actually prescription, but you could just walk in and get meds at a real pharmacy, like legit pharmacies, not like to go buy drugs, but to buy real medicine that normally you'd have to get a doctor to give a prescription for. That's what makes this case so strange. No criminal is that smart. Everything that could go wrong has gone wrong. Yeah, exactly. It's so weird. Okay, let's finish watching this one.
You that there is still no suspect or person of interest in this case. So here's where we stand as of now. Again, the blood on the porch tested positive, belonging to Nancy Guthrie at her home. We know that a ransom note was sent to several news outlets, and we want to stress that that ransom note still has not been determined yet if it is legitimate. According to one of the TV stations that got that note, the station says it made a specific demand for several $1 million in Bitcoin by Thursday at 5 p.m. and threatened to kill her if payment was not received by Monday. Now, we have not been told anything about a time frame for Monday's deadline.
That's the first I heard. Somebody said that we were going to kill her if we didn't get it by this time. Did anybody else hear that actual kill her word? I know Harvey Levin said it was going to be much more a bigger problem, or however he worded it. It's going to be a bigger, much more horrible outcome or something like that. I don't know how he worded it, but if the second deadline wasn't met. Yeah, usually it's the same medication you get here too, same company making it and everything, but it's cheaper. Yeah, and you don't need to go into the doctor first. You can just go buy it. Hello. All right, let's see what else she's got to say here.
We know that yesterday, Nancy's son, Cameron, he made a plea on social media shortly after 5 p.m., saying that the family wants to talk and is waiting for contact from whoever has their mother. Cameron's message was made a day after his sisters, Savannah and Annie, along with Cameron, made their first public plea on Wednesday, asking for the safe return of their mother. Also yesterday, our sister station in Tucson interviewed Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos. He said he is still confident that they will find Nancy.
I have all the faith in the world in my team. They're a great team.
Savannah's first public plea was straight out of a scene from Silence of the Lambs when Buffalo Bill kidnapped the governor's daughter. That was really weird. Yeah, it was so weird. That whole plea was weird. It was sad. I think it's the location making it so hard to figure out. It's dark out there and a ton of tall brush and trees that blocks the road. So all the cameras and people houses don't show much. Exactly. And out here in the desert, here too, where I live, we don't have street lights. We might have a couple. People are supposed to leave their garage porch light on, which is not very bright at all. Because, and like La Quinta, all out here, like the Palm Desert, it's considered a low light city, and it's on purpose so that the city is dark and you can see the stars in the sky, but it is dark, man. Like when I drive in my neighborhood, I cannot see, even with I got to turn on my brights, and it's dark, like pitch black dark. And my house is very close to the next door neighbor, and the next door neighbor, like I live in a regular neighborhood, where the houses in California are, you can reach over and touch the house next to you practically, but it is dark. And when I drive around at night, I'm like, I'm old and blind. I can't freaking see anything around here. There's a back road that comes to my back gate in my neighborhood. And when I'm on that road, I'm like, I can't see shit. Like my car automatically turns on the brights. It turns on the brights and then turns them off when another car is coming towards you and stuff. But it is dark. Like it's dark. You go for a walk outside at night, you better have a flashlight. So her neighborhood is clearly like that, and maybe even darker because her houses aren't even closer together. Like at least ours, we're told to keep my HOA, keep your because my driveway is, you can see it from the street. It's not big. It's not like where they live. Like I'm not hidden behind a bunch of long driveway or bushes or anything. But the HOA wants you to keep so there's a porch light on the garage. Keep that on at night. That literally is our street lights, and it's not bright. So you're in Atlanta and you can't see. I know it's so freaking dark. I'm like, I cannot see. I remember when I first moved into this neighborhood, because I came from a well-lit area, like Orange County. Everything's lit up over there. The freeways are bright. Out here, you drive on the freeway. I'm like, I can't drive at night. I can't see. Back there, there's it's like as bright as day on the freeways, on the 405 in Los Angeles and Orange County. But it's dark. Indio gets really, really dark. Kathy, please make sure you lock your doors and windows. Oh, I do. And I have camera. Okay. If I ever go missing, I do have cameras on both sides of my house, my backyard, and in my garage, and inside my house, and my doorbell. So make sure to tell people to get my phone and log in and see the video. But yeah, it's very dark out here. Very dark. Okay, let me continue what this Nano is saying. People are not really thrilled with Nano's press conferences.
You've seen their work themselves. A homicide out in the middle of nowhere, and in 24 hours, they've arrested 2 or 3 people. I mean, time and time again, they prove I have to have faith in that. And I know people say, well, what proof do you have she's alive? And I said, what proof do you have that she's not? She's here. We're going to find her.
Hey, girl. How are you?
And of course, many people have faith that she will hopefully be found safe and alive again here at Annie Guthrie's home. It is very quiet, very unlike what is happening over at Nancy Guthrie's home. I can tell you that perhaps there's less than a dozen vehicles. When we were at Nancy's home earlier this afternoon, there were probably at least 3 dozen news vehicles, network news, local.
You know what? I think you're right about that. Colleen, I don't believe for one second there's no person of interest. I think they've got suspects. I think it's going to be like Koberger, like, oh my God, there's a person, they tracked the car. I think that at some point there's going to be, all of a sudden, they're going to be like, yeah, we've been watching him all along, or her, or whoever, Thank you. Thank you, Holly. Appreciate that. I know my mom and my puppy, they died a couple days apart. My poor little Lulu. You guys have known Lulu for years, my little Yorkie. All of a sudden, she started having this respiratory distress. I'm here taking care of my mom, who's actively dying on hospice. And my friend comes to help me. And she says, I said, I know Lulu's breathing weird. I don't know what to do right now. I can't leave. I can't go to the vet. And she goes, I'll take her to the vet for you. And I'm like, okay. Because she was really having respiratory, retracting and breathing. Like, oh my God, something's wrong with Lulu. And so my friend Patty, my poor friend Patty, I've known since I was 16. And she was in my wedding. I was in hers. We've been friends forever. She was at the birth of my kids. I was at hers. And she's gone to Greece with me a couple times. And anyway, so she takes her to the vet, and turns out Lulu had a mass in her lungs, and then fluid all around her lungs and everything. So my poor friend Patty had to put Lulu down for me that night. I was like, I would say bring her home, but I don't want her to suffer. She's having respiratory distress, So Patty, that's a good friend, right? So yeah, I lost both of them just days apart. So it was really hard. I had Lulu for 13 years. I got her as a 7-week-old puppy. And then I had my mom for 61 years. So it's a lot. It's a lot. Okay, back to the news.
News and from the surrounding areas. So again, very quiet here. Aside from the security, there's not a whole lot going on. The FBI is still asking for any tips. If you know anything at all, you're urged to contact 911, the Pima County Sheriff's Office, or the FBI. You can call them at 1-800-CALL-FBI. That's going to do it for us here in Tucson. I'm Tram Mai. Mark and Caribe, back to you.
All right, Tram, thank you. Did you have something for Tram?
No.
Okay. Thanks, Tram.
Yeah, there's just not a lot of information. Everyone is in the dark, understandably, because I'm sure authorities want to keep this close to the vest.
We start with breaking news. The FBI has just confirmed that they're going door to door in Nancy Guthrie's.
Okay. FBI already knows who's involved, and hopefully there will be arrests soon. God bless Nancy. I hope so. I think the way they said that, they're keeping it very close to the vest. That I think that's the bottom line. You know, hopefully that they will they have somebody they're watching, and they will get this solved, and Nancy will be alive or not. But the worst part of anything is the not knowing. I can only imagine not knowing. Let me know if she's alive or dead. I can move on from that, but I don't like this not knowing. That has to be so horrible. The cops, feds, DOJ, they are not going to tell us anything regarding suspects, but I'm sure they've got something. I would think so, especially like I said, look at Brian Koberger. We didn't think that they would be able to come in and get arrested in that case. Like, it was so bizarre. And then all of a sudden the knife sheath and this and that and the DNA, and there you go. Right. I know. Lulu crossed over the rainbow. She's not suffering in your mom's like news. Thank you so much. Yeah, she's my she went on the 20th. My mom actually died on the 22nd at 11:30 at night. But by the time hospice got here and pronounced her, it was the 23rd. So they literally died like 2 days apart. Percy. Okay. Percy sees my reflection in the sliding door right now. He's as dumb as ever. Thinks it's a stranger out there. Anyway, let me look one more time because I'm going to have to go feed this dog. This poor little dog that's all lonely now. He's very Velcro-y since Lulu's been gone. Before we go. And then we'll stay updated with this. Okay, wait, here's another one. Okay, wait, one more. Well, one more. Let me get this one because this is interesting. This is from 9 minutes ago. And this is NBC LA. Okay, here we go. Yeah, the not knowing is awful. God, I can't. Could you ever, like, when you're waiting for some news or even like freaking lab results, the not knowing is so much worse than just tell me the bad news. Like, just tell me the bad news, right? Okay, let's watch this. Oh, this girl, this Colleen one right here. This lady on the right, not the red dress, but the other lady, this LA, she's still working, huh? She was on my flight one time back in the 80s when I was a flight attendant, and she was such a snob. Like, she was one of our passengers, and she was young back then, obviously. She's probably not much older than me because she's still alive and working, but I was in my 20s, and she was on my flight. She was going from Burbank to Phoenix, obviously, because I was based in Phoenix. And for whatever reason, there's probably a news story there that she was going to, but she was not nice at all. She acted like she was some like movie star or something. Okay. Anyway, that's just my thing. Okay.
Now to one of our stories that is breaking right now. That is a search for Savannah Guthrie's mother, who has been missing now for 6 days.
Robert Kovacic is in Tucson. He's on scene there. Robert, we understand you have some new developments here.
Colleen and Kathy, let's catch you up. As you reported at the top of the hour and have continued to report, there was information that NBC News has received regarding a vehicle that may possibly be connected to the investigation into the disappearance of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie. We were given that information, and our network asked us to come and check out the possible location. And this is where we are standing right now. This is a Circle K, and I'm going to stand back. First of all, this is the parking lot in question. There are no vehicles here as you look at the parking lot that are believed to be possibly related and or connected. But just a short time ago, there were 2 sheriff's deputies that were here
right, Holly, right?
in parked vehicles of their own, taking notes, finishing up whatever they were doing. I asked them if they could comment. They said we certainly cannot. Inside of the Circle K, they said that they are not allowed to be commenting at this point. But this is what we know. Again, NBC News had become aware of a search by law enforcement for a vehicle or vehicles, again, may or may not be connected to the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. Officials have not said if the vehicle
it's
has
connected.
been
Come on,
connected to any part of a crime, or if actually that lead has since been evaporated. Circle K, a spokesperson telling NBC News in a statement confirming law enforcement came here after, quote, receiving a tip regarding a vehicle of interest. And our team, the Circle K team, provided them access to the store's surveillance video. Circle K spokesperson added that their thoughts are with the Guthrie family at this time and that they are always willing to assist law enforcement as they continue searching for Nancy Guthrie. This is, as you take a look right now, and Lewis is just going to pan over, exactly a 6-minute drive from the home of Nancy Guthrie. So it is fairly close
6
by
minutes
in the Catalina
You know it's
foothills,
related.
as
Come
the
on.
suburbs of Tucson are called. And that is where we immediately went to. Again, two sheriff's deputies were here, whatever investigation they were looking into, if they had the surveillance video, and they have now completed that part of the investigation. They have moved on. If there are any developments to be had here, we will certainly let you know as soon as we know and we can confirm them. Colleen and Kathy.
Robert, what can you tell us about the reports today of another ransom note?
Just that, another note to a television station here in Tucson. They are actively working to try and verify this ransom note to see if this ransom note is connected to the other ransom notes. NBC News has seen these notes. They have reviewed the notes. But again, law enforcement can substantiate
everybody
them,
gets to see them
meaning
but us.
They don't know if they are in any way, manner, shape, or form connected to the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. But as this investigation has moved forward, and when the Pima County Sheriff's Department here in Arizona brought in the FBI, they are sharing every development with them. And as we leave you, we can tell you that Senator Mark Kelly was here
I think so too.
outside of the Pima County
Colleen.
Sheriff's Department this afternoon, not only showing his support to the Sheriff's Department and to all the investigators, but very
shocked
confident
if it went to
in
Monday.
the investigation they are doing, in the investigation that now moves forward, Colleen and Kathy, into the 6th day and the search for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie. I'm Robert Kovacic, live here in Tucson. Let's go back to you.
All right.
Today with the
Okay, let me get rid of that. Take it down. All right. So that's where we're at with this one. I've been following it now for the whole week, and I have not been on here except for I did a couple shorts. So we'll keep following it and following it and following it. And I'm on a leave from work right now still. I hurt my back, so I'm home. But I'm not allowed to make money because I'm on short-term disability. So I have to be careful with the channel. My channel's just a hobby, right? So anyway, obviously it's not making any money right now. I'm like so inconsistent. So I'm not worried about it. But I will be here and I'm paying attention. So if you're new, like, subscribe, ring the bell because I will go live. I'm home. I'm going to be home all weekend. I don't have any big plans. I'm cleaning up my house. I'm actually going to sell my house and move back to Orange County. So I am most likely, I know Lindsay's amazing. We love Lindsay. I have not talked to Lindsay in a long time. I'll be here. So we'll go live if anything gives. And I'll probably check in every evening from here, or in the day. I don't know. Just ring the bell so you know, because knowing me, I'll just do it on a whim. Wow, getting 2 million views. I trust Ashley's source. Yeah. I mean, Lindsay, I was telling my sister, I'm like, freaking Lindsay, man. I don't know how she gets the stuff she does, but she's amazing. And she does. And she's really good at what she does. Very good at what she does. She's giving me some pointers out there once in a while. I don't know if I listen well enough, though. But yeah. Yes, the family statement was very tactical, for sure. All right. Yep, my back is a hot mess, just like the rest of me. But I'm here. So if anybody, Holly or anybody, text me or message me if you hear of anything, and I'll go live if there's anything breaking, if I miss it for some reason. And my new binge shows, now that I'm home, I'm watching The Pit, which is really, really good on HBO Max. I finished Landman. What else? I think those are the two big ones right now that I've been watching. So Nancy Guthrie's pacemaker is still going. Apparently they know much more than they are telling us. Your pacemaker, okay, so as far as the pacemaker goes, it just paces you. So it's connected to an app to her watch, but basically it just will probably tell her if her heart rate goes underneath what it's set for, or if she has an arrhythmia or an irregular, something goes on, some weird thing with the pacemaker. But for the most part, all my hospice patients that have pacemakers, they die with their pacemaker on. They die. You still will die with pacemaker on. So, if her body decides it's time to go or somebody kills her, she'll still die with pacemaker on. It won't alert anybody. So yeah. So anyway, most of my patients that have pacemakers, it's because their heart rate would go below, like low. And so the pacemaker is set to keep the heart rate above, say 60. So that's what that does. Okay. So anyway, okay. Percy's mad. He wants to eat. He's an hour late for his dinner. And, I have him on a diet because I was reading a pug page and somebody told me somebody posted their 4-year-old pug died of a heart attack. And I was like, oh crap. Percy's like 6 pounds overweight. He should weigh about 18 to 20 and he weighs 26. So I got Percy on a diet, but he's wanting his dinner. Love Landman. So good. So good. All right. I'll just keep blabbing. And even though I say, I'm going to go, I'm going to blab, I'm going to blab, I'm going to blab. So I love you guys. I miss you all. I will be back. Keep me posted if you hear anything. Please stay safe and stay well. And I will see you soon. Okay. All right. Take care. Bye.